Hello, this is Alexis Cote. I am doing my oral presentation on the song The Times They Are Changing by Bob Dylan. So let's get right into it with the introduction and quickly some info on Bob Dylan. So he was born in 1941. He is a folk rock singer and a songwriter. But mainly he's really an excellent, very gifted writer. He's very talented and he even won a Nobel Prize for Literature. The funny thing is that he did not even actually show up to claim the prize, but still very impressive. And something he managed to do very well is he managed to bring the world of music and literature together. So when you look at Bob Dylan, you don't really see this, big profile guy with the looks of, of an Elvis Presley or anything. So you kind of wonder how did he become so popular? Because Bob was actually really, really popular. He's a very big name. So the way he managed to get there is with his excellent writing. He really, this is what really brought him to fame because he doesn't have that profile, but his lyrics were so good that people, the intellectuals, people that were kind of the nerds of the United States really just fell in love with him, and this is how he became so popular. And we'll also see how can a song that was written in the 1960s, so the times are changing was written in the 1960s, can still be so remarkably accurate, meaningful in the 2020s. So we'll see how that happened and later on. And also, the song is an anthem for change. It exposes and hard truth to the listeners. Society is and will inevitably be changing, and failing to keep up with those changes can be very detrimental to somebody. Okay, so moving on to the main concepts, the impact of societal changes, of course. So that's the main concept, all of the impact that societal changes can have. And I think the main concept, of course, the wheel of change in the world, the ever-changing society, and the importance of acknowledging those changes and adapting to it. So he'll present his view on the changes around him, and he'll basically be calling for people to acknowledge those changes and adapt to them. He's saying those changes are imminent, that they're going to arrive for sure, and that you have to get out of your own way, because basically you're going to have, this means forgetting about your old habits and your old ways, and basically learning the new cultural changes and the new flow, just going with the new flow. Okay, so quickly before going into the lyrics and the analysis of the lyrics, I just quickly want to say talk about the melody and the music. So harmonica was an instrument used, and I thought it was really great because it brought a deeper sense of meaning, and it just simply felt right with the lyrics. It just felt like if harmonica is a free spirit instrument, and it just felt right in the song. It just gave for deeper meaning, and the guitar also just a really great piece, and the guitar solo just classic folk. The melody that kind of gave patriotic vibes. I don't know if Bob really intended to do that, but that's what the melody and the music gave. It just made the song a whole that much better. And okay, so let's get right into the lyrics interpretation. So the first verse, when he says, "Come gather around people, admit that the waters around you have grown," he basically is doing a call on the people of the world, and he's saying that you have to admit and face the reality that there are changes around you, there are imminent changes coming that are here, and you have to face them. And then he's saying if you don't face them, if your time is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. He's saying if you don't start swimming, which basically means survive and adapt to the changes, you'll be sinking, so you'll be drowning in the past. This is kind of what he means in that first verse here. He's saying that times they are changing and you have to adapt, or otherwise you'll be drowning in the past. Alright, so moving on to the second verse now. So he switches his call from the people to mainly he's looking at the writers, the journalists, the critics, the people who have the pen, right? So the influencers. You could do a parallel with the 2020s. I don't personally like those social media influencers, but they're the ones who can have this really big impact on a wide range of people. So when he's saying, "Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again." So he's saying the changes are here now, and you have one chance to do something about it and maybe help people adapt and realize them, and you have to take your chance right now. This is how I saw it. And don't speak too soon, for the wheels is still in spin, and there's no telling who that's its naming, for the losers now will be later to win. So he's saying this is happening right now. There are changes, and you can, you know, acknowledge them and adapt to them. And he's saying that the writers and the critics have this role of being, you know, those influencers that could do something and help other people adapt to those changes. This is how I saw the second verse. So the third verse, now he's switching his focus on the people who are in power, the elites. So the politicians, the congressmen, senators. So he's saying, "Come, senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway. Don't block up the hall." So when he's saying that, he basically means that, unfortunately, sometimes they're going to be working for their own interest, the people in power, the elites. So that's why he's saying, "Don't block up the hall." And for he that get hurts will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls. So he's saying that the change will get them anyways. The time will, you know, get them, and there will be a new election if they don't act for the people, if they don't work for the people. So here, Bob Dylan is really the voice of the people, and he's saying if they don't act correctly, the change will get them, and they're going to be losing later on. So the fourth verse, now he's making a call on the parents. So he's making a call on the people that are raising the future, so the children. And this is actually my favorite verse. He's saying, "Come, mothers and fathers," and the main thing here is, don't criticize what you can't understand. So there's a clash between the two, you know, generation here, and there's the old and the new ways. So the new ways is the new kids. They have different dreams and different aspirations from the older folks, and you basically have to, you know, he's basically calling on the parents to let their children live their dreams and aspirations here in the fourth verse, and I really like this verse. He's saying your old world is rapidly aging, so, you know, your old ways are the past. You have to now look at the future. And now the fifth verse, so the lawn it is drawn, the curse it is cast, the slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. So he's basically saying that there's a perpetual nature of change. It is really beautifully written. So everyone will be caught by age and time here. So the order is rapidly fading. So it doesn't matter where you are in the order. When the changes come and the time the age is past and the changes are here, doesn't matter where you're in the order, you'll be old news, and the changes are going to get you anyways, unless you do adapt to them and try to maneuver through them. And the first one now will later be last. So it doesn't matter what happens, the changes are going to be coming in. There's going to be new ideas, new cultural, you know, ideals, and new cultural purposes that are going to be changing the packet order, and who are the leaders and who are the people that are dominating, right? So that's what's going to be happening. And this is the fifth verse. This is kind of what it means. Sorry. And in conclusion, so this whole song is really the Bob's interpretation of the changes around him. So he sees the changes around him. He's a great artist. I think he's a very smart guy, and he's a great writer. So he made this song about how he saw the changes around him, and it just made a whole lot of sense. And it's crazy to think that still 60 years later after he wrote this, it still makes so much sense and holds so much truth, because right now we can see how our society is so fragile with the virus and a whole bunch of different things, and we can see that the changes are still ever coming, and there's so many big changes from year to year, and it's very crazy to think about how right Bob Dylan was with that song, and there's an amazing parallel that we can do with today's society. So thank you very much. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this my interpretation on Bob Dylan's, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.